We all have our comfort zones, those familiar routines, those predictable situations, those safe spaces where we feel at ease, where we know what to expect. There's nothing inherently wrong with comfort. In fact, it's often a necessary place for rest and recharge. But staying in our comfort zone for too long can actually become a cage, limiting our potential and hindering our personal growth. Today, I want to talk about why it's so important to step outside that zone and how it propels us forward on the path of self-discovery and development. Our comfort zones are like well-trodden paths. We know every twist and turn, every bump in the road, but growth rarely happens when we're simply repeating the same steps over and over. It occurs when we venture into the unknown, when we challenge ourselves, and when we confront the discomfort of new experiences. It's often on the other side of fear that we find the most incredible breakthroughs, both externally and internally. Think about a time you stepped outside your comfort zone. Maybe you tried a new hobby, took a risk in your career, or had a difficult conversation. I'm willing to bet that it felt uncomfortable, maybe even scary, but I'm also willing to bet that in retrospect you learned something about yourself, you grew in some way, and you became more resilient. That's because stepping outside of our comfort zone forces us to adapt, it forces us to be resourceful, it forces us to grow. When we stay comfortable, we can become complacent, set in our ways, and resistant to change. We might start feeling like we're not truly living to our full potential. We become trapped in a cycle of predictability, missing out on opportunities for growth, new experiences, and connections. The world is always changing, and it is important to change with it or we are left behind. Stepping outside our comfort zone can be anything from trying a new cuisine to learning a new skill or even speaking in public if that's something that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be drastic, and it should always be at your own pace. The key is to identify what feels like a challenge for you, what makes you a little nervous, but ultimately has the potential to enrich your life. So, how does this contribute to our development? Well, for one thing, it builds confidence. At Arkanti, every time you face a fear, every time you navigate a challenge, you prove to yourself that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. You start to believe in your own strength, and it is much easier to step out again once you have done it before. It also enhances creativity. When we expose ourselves to new experiences, we broaden our perspective, we are inspired to think in new and innovative ways. It opens our mind to new possibilities, it expands our world, and finally it builds adaptability. It allows us to become more flexible and more resilient when dealing with adversity. The more we step outside our comfort zone, the more equipped we become to face anything that comes our way. It's important to remember that it's okay to feel discomfort. It's often that feeling of discomfort that signals you're on the verge of a significant breakthrough. It's okay to feel fear, to feel nervous, but we can't allow those feelings to control us or to stop us from pursuing the life we are meant to live. So today, I challenge you to take that leap. Identify a small area in your life where you feel you could grow that has you at least a little uncomfortable. Take the first step no matter how small and see what happens, because the path to growth is rarely comfortable, but it's always